So it's the 2nd of January or the 9th day of Christmas, and we're going to take a look at some of my favourite photography that I shot this year, or should I say last year in 2022. Let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome to 1/6 Figure Focus, and in this video just going to take a look at some of my favourite shots that I took of my 1/6 scale and quarter scale figures. And actually I think these are all 1/6 scale that I took last year in 2022. Now I'm not a particularly good or talented photographer, but I dabble and I do enjoy it, and yeah, so we're just going to get started. So I'll come back to this one. This is going to leave this one to the end for talk about this one. So this is the this is Temuera Morrison, or Boba Fett, from the TMS 034 Boba Fett Deluxe, or known as the Boba Robot 2-back. Like, what can you say? They nail Temuera Morrison's likeness, and I particularly like this photo because it just kind of shows up the details, things that even sometimes you can't really see when you look at the photo. The camera kind of picks them up, like a lot of the scarring and venation on his head. Obviously, like, you can kind of see like the wrinkles above his eyebrows and underneath his eyes, and kind of all the shadowing then, whichever way the light was falling there, there's kind of shadows in the eyes there, and even like the material on the robes, the Tuscan robes, look good. So yeah, that's one I particularly like. I think it's kind of bleached out there on the top of the head, though I probably should have done a bit of Photoshop there to make it a bit stand out a bit better. Kind of getting washed out there in the white. So then its counterpart here, this is when he gets his armor back, and you have the heavily battle damaged, kind of Sarlacc pit damaged armor. This is actually my favorite version of Boba Fett. I do like the original trilogy, as you can see here, but this one down here is, in terms of just like for like, figure per figure, I think this is actually a better figure. So, and yeah, I like this shot. Just kind of again, it just, like, the reason I take these photos is just to kind of show up the detail and just amazing work that the Hot Toys sculptors and painters and tailorers do. So yeah, this really impressed by this 2-pack. Don't let anyone steer you wrong on this. It's a beautiful 2-pack. So then this is the Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary Boba, and you can see there's a considerable difference in terms of the weathering. This one's like has a bit of weathering going on as well, but not as much as this. This one's like toast. Okay, so that's the one up behind me there. And then this is the Boba Robot 2-pack together, kind of more of a portrait style. I really like that. Just sometimes just getting a small bit of adjust myself here. Sometimes just getting a slightly different angle. Instead of taking photos from eye level, just like stand up a small bit more and have like an aerial view, or just get down a small bit and just go from, like, say, the knees up, and you just have that kind of, the figures look a lot more taller and imposing from that angle. Just looks a bit different. So play around with angles would be something that I've learned anyway. And the same angle, just a different figure. This is actually one of my favorite shots I took all year from one of my favorite figures from one of my favorite franchises. Like this is, when I think of Batman, this is the suit I think of. And I grew up on the 1989 Batman. I mean, 1989 Batman was the first movie I ever really loved, and my collecting is rooted in my love of film and television. But I think, like, also my love of movies is probably attributed back to the 1989 Batman. But that being said, I do prefer the Dark Knight trilogy, and I think this is a fantastic figure. I mean, this showcases so much of the goodness of this particular DX19 Batman. I mean, it's a step above the DX02. It's a big step above the DX02, and from what I've heard, it's a step up above. I've had the DX02; it was awful, and from what I've heard, it's a step up above the DX12. I know the cape is a lot better. Hot Toys don't do good capes, but I think they actually did a really good job in this cape. The DX19 style cape is a lot different than the Batman Begins cape. The Batman Begins cape came right around him. The DX19 never really did that. So just like holding the cape, like having it like plugged into the parts there, and just arranging it so it falls back and like in between, say, the place where you peg the hole in the shoulder, not having it coming out in the shoulder is the key to, I think, making it look good. I like the way it's a bit exaggerated, a bit longer, and it just drapes really nice. I presume there's better custom ones out there, but I actually like it. You can also see the EMP rifle here, and you can see all the paneling. There's a lot going on. There's so many different. It's a neoprene undersuit, and then they have the panels on top of it, so that's better for articulation. It's not the most articulated figure, but it is better for that. I really like the belt pops here, and you can see they're kind of like It's almost like a silver graphite kind of bits on the chest piece that aren't actually black. They're kind of more of a grey. It's not just a full-on black suit. There's black panels on it, black parts in it, but there's a lot of kind of grey parts, or I suppose graphite carbon kind of coloured. And then the cowl looks great as well, and I like the way the lights fall in here. You can't really see his eyes, which I think is pretty cool as well. So yeah, it's one of my favourite shots of the year. All these shots are up on my Instagram, so it's at 16figurefocus if you want to follow me on Instagram. Snowspeeder Luke, it's not a particularly great photo, but I just like it because I really like that particular figure. It's my favourite figure that was best figure I picked up in 2022. Well, the best figure I picked up in 2022 was the Robocop, but the best figure that was released in 2022 that got picked up, as you can see from my video that I released a few days ago, I think I did it on day 3, called Bangers. Yeah, this is just a great piece. Battle Damage Mark 85. I really like kind of focusing in on one little detail. So obviously here's the gauntlet. I probably should have lit these up for that, but you know how those batteries are. You spend a week of your life trying to get them in, and they die after about 3 seconds. But I kind of like this style of photography. You pick one focal point, focus on that, have that nice and sharp, and the rest is blown out then. So you can clearly see like the Battle Damaged Mark 85 head sculpt in the background. RDJ, they actually did a great job on that head sculpt when they fixed it. And then a more kind of younger, less battle damaged version of Robert Downey Jr. This is the die-cast Iron Man Mark 6. Of course, you're going back to time there now with pre-nanotech, where it's just a guy in a suit. It's my favourite suit, and I think this head sculpt is really, really, really good. And this is an old enough figure, but it's not that old. I think I got it in 2017, so what's that, 5 years old? Yeah, the technology is still pretty good now, but look, if you watch my video that I released, I think it was a few days ago. I think it would have been on the 7th day of Christmas. Was that New Year's Eve? About the most impressive head sculpts that were announced this or in 2022. You'll see that they're constantly improving their sculpts, but I still think this sculpt holds up. Just one of my favorite photos as well. Not canon. The Endgame Captain America was never on screen with the Mark 6 like this. They did share screen time, but not in this particular suit. He would have been in the 2012 Avengers suit when they shared screen time. But I just really, really like the way the light pops off the candy apple red Iron Man chest here, and off the shield as well. The shield really pops. I've actually taken a lot of photos of the shield, as you'll see later on. Just really, really pops. I just like the way these two look together. And again, it's not eye levels. It's kind of like eye level. I think it's slightly lower, maybe slightly lower than eye level there. But yeah, really, really liked how this shot turned out. Upgraded suit Spider-Man. I had 2 at one stage, but because I got the Battling version, I sold one. You can see one over my shoulder here. It's just a museum post standing straight up and down, exposing the head sculpt with the Edict glasses. He's on the phone. He's holding on to the mask because it's not nanotech. I like that, incorporating as many of the accessories as you can, trying to make it look natural. But here, he's just basically on top of a Mysterio drone. You just can't see it. It's just off the shot. And again, just kind of this area in between the eyes is the focal point, so gradually as you move further away, you can see even the back of the head starts to blur, and the shoulders are blurred, and the hand is almost obliterated there. Just a fairly simple photo, nothing too fancy, of the Battle Damage Endgame Thanos, which is actually one of the favourite figures in my collection. And it's a villain, and it's imposing. It's like very statuesque, because I only have like 1/4 scale, and that's the Mark III. But because this guy's so big, even though he's 6 scale, he's kind of like he's nearly going the same height as the 1/4 scale. And this is the pose I have him in. To be honest, I put it in this pose day 1, and I just love it, and I'm reluctant to change it, because I just really like how it looks, and it's up there in this floating shelf above me. Kind of like, I've got these floating shelves, so like on the top he's the pinnacle, so there's one shelf, and there's 2 shelves a bit lower, and then 2 shelves a bit lower and wider, and I have all my Endgame stuff there. Although Mysterio's there, he's a placeholder for Loki, but so I've got like the Battle Damage Mark 85, Endgame Cap, Iron Patriot rocket on his shoulder, the Battle Damage Endgame Thanos, Infinity War Spider-Man, like it appeared in Endgame even though it's branded Infinity War, and waiting for a Endgame Loki to arrive, so nice to get a villain into the collection as well. But I really, really like this shot. These are all on my Instagram again, if you want to follow me at 16figurefocus. Just a few shore troopers. Got the OG shore trooper, the squad leader, and the grunt. And again, this is like, they're not completely obliterated. You know that they're definitely shore troopers or different versions, but the center one is obviously sharp and in focus, and then the rest is just slightly out of focus. I love how they made this look like Ben Affleck, but just a tiny bit of the face, about a third of the face exposed, maybe half of the face. Even the detail, like that's just like that could be a movie still. And that's not a compliment to my photography at all. That's just basically complimenting the artists. These head sculpts. Look, you can see the pores in the skin, in his nose, and even little bits of eyelashes there. The detailing on the lips, like it's insane. Like Commander Cody, and my favorite part of Commander Cody besides the head sculpt is the helmet. It's just it's my only prequels figure because the troop I do collect troopers, but I don't tend to collect prequels and I don't collect sequels. But I made an exception for Commander Cody. It was a gift and it was a bloody good one too, because it's a trooper that pops out on the shelf. The Remnant Trooper, I just have a strange attachment to this trooper. I think it was when I saw The Mandalorian and I saw the troopers looked like they'd seen better days, and it was kind of it's just one image of a few troopers who are all busted up and you know, weathered and battle damage and stuff, and they looked spent, and that just told me everything I need to know about the show. I thought, yeah, they're giving a nod to the original trilogy, they're given that respect, they're going to incorporate some things from the original trilogy, but they're going off their own direction. It's post Empire, and I really like that, and they did it so well. And like a lot of people just say, oh, it's just a stormtrooper, a dirty stormtrooper, but like people are still chasing it now. It's only $400 or $500 in the aftermarket now, and I actually got this for free from the Devil's Workshop. I had it was I think it was a Daft Toys Bane kit, the clothing kit, on order, and they lost it, so they refunded me, gave me a 20% discount, and they sent me this for free. I don't know that they mean to do that now, but it's yeah, it's in my trooper collection and I love it. This is one of two third-party figures on my shelf. Speaking about that Daft kit, that Daft Toys Bane kit, I eventually got it off someone else, and yeah, I bought it off someone else new, and then I just attached it to a Fison M35 body, the same as Justin did, and yeah, he holds up. I am kind of starting to look at the Bank Robber Joker and the Daft Toys Bane here, and I'm starting to kind of maybe think they could be the first to go, because just the standard of Hot Toys is getting so high, and I think Hot Toys are going to do a proper Bane. I just don't know. If InArt does a Bane, sign me up. No brainer. No Baner. Sorry, I'm here all day. But they're just starting to look a little bit out of place with. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's in the back of my head. Maybe no one would notice. But yeah, I think there's better versions out there, because this guy's the Fison M35 body is basically like Arnie. He wasn't like Arnie in it. He was a big imposing guy, but he had a bit of a belly as well. So I'd like a kind of more body that was actually accurate to the movie. And I was using this as my logo for the longest time. It's actually one of my favorite intros to any film, that heist. They just did a great job on it. And yeah, so this is the this is Daft Toys as well. So it comes with the head sculpts, 2 head sculpts, masked, unmasked, all the tailoring, the bunch of different weapons, and also comes with, you know, the duffel bag with all the grenades and stuff in it. And we're back where we started. So this is actually it's a simple photo, but I just really like taking photos of the shield. Like I said, the camera sees things the details that I wouldn't have picked up with my own eyes. All the dirt and the grime on it, all the scratching and the weathering, looks like sand on it. Yeah. So anyway, massive shout out to Alan, the 6 Scale Gallery on Instagram. If you haven't done so already, go over to Instagram and follow at the 6 Scale Gallery, and on YouTube follow the 6 Scale Gallery. Really nice guy, extremely talented photographer, does amazing portrait photography that I just can't even fathom. He takes these amazing pieces and just makes them look even realer than they already are. He knows what he's doing. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to the 6 Scale Gallery on YouTube and follow at the 6 Scale Gallery on Instagram. And he was the one who gave me the idea to do this, because I was running out of ideas and I was under pressure the day before Christmas Eve, when I was putting all these videos together and scheduling. But he was the guy who gave me the idea to showcase some of the photography I did over the last year. So thanks, Alan. If you want to support the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Let me know if you like any of these photos. And yeah, you can also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. That's it. That's the end of the video. See you in the next one. Good luck.